In today's video, Shanghai Disneyland has officially reopened after over an 100-day closure. Hong Kong Disneyland is now preparing for reopening, and Walt Disney World is sending out a new survey to guests asking about their upcoming reservations in June and July. What's up everyone? Welcome back to another video here on Drew the Disney Dude. Let's get into today's topics. First topic in today's video is that Shanghai Disneyland has finally reopened. It was actually the first Disney park to close back in late January, but now it is the first Disney park in the world to reopen yesterday on May 11th. And if you missed it, Shanghai Disneyland is using a phased approach to the reopening. I wanted to cover this again very quickly because it's likely when all of the other Disney parks reopen, they will be using similar procedures. Included in this phased reopening are limits on attendance, an advanced reservation and entry system, controlled guest density using social distancing, and strict government-required health and prevention procedures. And even if you don't care a lot about Shanghai Disneyland's reopening, it is still very important that it goes well there because all of those procedures are being tested for all of the other Disney parks in the world. So depending on how well those procedures go, we might see some or all of those procedures implemented in all of the other parks. And in my opinion, the even bigger reopening is Disney Springs, which is reopening here at Walt Disney World in about a week on May 20th. Right now, the only confirmed details we have for Disney Springs reopening is that guests and cast members will be required to wear masks and that none of the Disney-owned locations will be open yet, so hopefully those open soon, and hopefully we get some more details on Disney Springs reopening soon, but this test is very, very big for Walt Disney World's reopening. So it's awesome that Shanghai Disneyland is finally back open. Disney Springs is reopening here soon, and that takes us into our next topic, is that Hong Kong Disneyland now looks like it's preparing for reopening. Shout out to Hong Kong Main Street Gazette for all of these photos, but as you can see here, it looks like Hong Kong Disneyland is preparing for reopening with the same procedures as Shanghai Disneyland, with the markings on the ground and the temperature screening tents. So maybe soon we will get a reopening date for Hong Kong Disneyland. Nothing has been confirmed yet, but over at Shanghai, a couple weeks before the opening date was announced, we saw this being set up, so we can only hope that Hong Kong will open soon with all of these procedures being set up now. And final topic for today's video I want to talk about is that guests at Walt Disney World that had hotel reservations for June are now being sent surveys about Walt Disney World's reopening. The survey starts off by saying, assuming the following: stay-at-home restrictions have been lifted and you are able to travel, there are no restrictions in Central Florida that prevent you from traveling to the area, and travel providers in Central Florida attractions, including the Walt Disney World Resort, will have implemented a new set of health and safety measures, such as employees and customers wearing face coverings, which Bob Chapek today actually said that it's very likely that face coverings will be required by cast members and guests, so that's probably going to happen. Enhanced disinfecting and cleaning of facilities, limiting capacity and density of large gatherings, etc. What, if anything, would make you consider canceling your Walt Disney World Resort hotel reservation for June? And here's the list of reasons that someone might cancel their reservation for June, which very interesting that it says June. Here we go, starting off with find a better deal at an alternate destination. My currently booked Walt Disney World Resort Hotel is not open and I have to move to a comparable Walt Disney World Resort Hotel. There are some restrictions in my home area, but they do not prevent travel. There are some restrictions in Central Florida, but they do not prevent my visitation. The pace of new infections in Central Florida significantly increases or does not improve. The pace of new infections in the area where I live significantly increases or does not improve. The pace of new infections in an alternate leisure destination significantly improves. No Central Florida theme parks are open. Only some Central Florida theme parks are open. Central Florida attractions require an advanced reservation. Select rides, shows, or other entertainment experiences within theme parks are not available. Select rides, shows, or other entertainment experiences outside of theme parks are not available. Dining options or bars are limited. Shopping options are limited. Florida beaches are closed or have limited availability. New passenger requirements for flying are too cumbersome. The mandatory safety precautions visitors must take to experience Central Florida attractions are too cumbersome. And there is an other, please specify, or nothing would make me consider canceling. For the next part of the survey, this is basically the opposite. These are reasons why you would keep your Walt Disney World reservation in June, which June's just about 20 days away, so definitely interesting that they are sending the survey out now because we're getting very close to June. And starting off with, pace of new infections in Florida is significantly reduced. My household's job/work situation stays at least as good as it is now. My local government declares it is safe to travel. Proven virus treatment becomes available. I am able to schedule time off, or personal schedules are better known. Federal officials declare it is safe to travel. Social distancing regulations are relaxed. Health officials declare it is safe to travel. Pace of new infections in the area where I live is significantly reduced. More widespread testing is available, and a variety of businesses in Central Florida reopen. So I feel like most people would click all these options because they're all good options. Let's go to the next part of our survey. For the next part of the survey, I assume that there was a question that was answered that made this question pop up, kind of like a, if you click yes, then please tell us why, because it says, you indicated that if select rides, shows, or other entertainment experiences within the parks are not available, you would consider canceling your reservation. Please indicate which rides, shows, or other entertainment experiences within the theme parks would cause you to definitely cancel your reservation. And it gives you the 5 options, and then it says, I can't think of any that would make me cancel my reservation, so I'm curious. Let me know in the comment section down below. What rides, like if they weren't open, what would you guys cancel your trip for? Let me know in the comment section down below. And then moving into our next part of the survey, it says whether or not you are interested in these activities. When do you think you'll be comfortable doing each of the following? And the first one at the very top is visiting a theme park or amusement park. And this is very important. What people say here might determine when Walt Disney World reopens. It also says visit a sporting event, going to the beach, visiting a national park, going to a concert, dining out at a restaurant, which already is happening in Florida. Restaurants are open inside and outside at 25% capacity in phase 1 for Florida. It says cruising, which I feel like cruising is definitely going to be one of the later ones, maybe even more than 6 months from now. Visiting a retail store, those are now opening in Florida as well. Outdoor malls, traveling by plane, hosting an in-person gathering of family and friends, visiting an indoor mall, staying in a hotel, which keep in mind Disney World has over 25 hotels, so a lot of Disney's money is going to come from those. That's another very important one. And going to a movie theater. Alright, so those were all of the main topics on the survey. Definitely a good sign to see that Walt Disney World is asking guests about their June reservation, because I feel like if Disney wasn't considering a June reopening for Walt Disney World, they would have just canceled the reservations by now and they wouldn't even be asking the guests. So definitely a good sign to see. I know this video wasn't as long as normal, but still wanted to report the news to you guys today. I hope you enjoyed this video. I'll see you in my next one. Peace.